in this whole kerfuffle with Sony and Disney and Spider-Man, we need to look into the story of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Let's get some background here. Before Walt Disney started the Walt Disney Company, he worked for other studios. His own little short thing kind of fell apart. He had to work for stuff, and amongst them, he worked for Universal. And he created the character Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And they did some shorts, and it's very successful. Eventually, there was kind of a falling out between him and Universal. They went on, and Universal held on to ownership of Oswald. And because of that, he couldn't, so he had to, that's how we got Mickey. He had to create an alternate, to Oswald. But for all these years, Universal held on to the trademark of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. So, fast forward, bunch of years. Universal eventually, is bought up by, NBC is now part of it all. Disney, the conglomerate, we all know they own ABC. So, Monday Night Football moves to ESPN, another Disney company, but Al Michaels and John Madden do not go over there. They don't want to go to ESPN, so they're not part of it. They got other teams doing that. NBC is starting up Sunday Night Football, and they really want Al Michaels and him to come over. So we're talking NBC and ABC, aka Universal and Disney. So, part of the deal, they want Al Michaels. Disney wants Oswald the Lucky Rabbit back. Thus, Al Michaels becomes the first human being ever traded for a cartoon character. The lesson we learned here is that Disney will go to quite a few, some rather extraordinary lengths to get their property back. And they saw Oswald as Disney property. That was one of the big, one Walt Disney creation that was under Disney control. They wanted him back, and they got him. Now let's consider Spider-Man, the flagship character of the Marvel Comics. He's on the stock certificates, for God's sakes. Okay, you get a prospectus out there. Spider-Man's all over it. Okay, and this is the one big character they really had. That's the worst deal they signed. Hulk at Universal is nothing. They can use the Hulk, as long as it's not in a solo movie. And Universal's not doing much anyway. But Sony is doing stupid stuff. And they are, they're not handling their flagship character very well. Why do you think that movie was called Spider-Man Homecoming? Spider-Man was coming home to Marvel in that way. So, Rothman's little power play here is not going to go down well. And especially the statement of their property they do not own. Oh, really? You want to stick the knife in a little further there, Tom, and get a little twist? Really want to rub salt in the wound that Marvel does not own the movie rights to their own main flagship character? That was just dumb, okay? And Sony is not on that stable of ground anyway. Because what major franchises they have all been farmed out. Bond is someone else now. Spider-Man's the only thing they really have, okay, holding them together, which explains why they're being so ferocious on this thing. But there have been other grumblings that Sony itself may be getting ready to sell off the movie studio. Once upon a time, it was Columbia Pictures. They still use the title once in a while. They used to name the title card. But that's where they got when Sony bought Columbia a long time ago. And as a part of they created Sony Pictures, but they still have Columbia Pictures, and I think TriStar, and a few other brands in there. I think Screen Gems in there somewhere. But there's been talk that shake your ground on that they may wind up just selling Sony Pictures. Now, I don't think Disney would buy Sony Pictures out because I think that would be one studio acquisition too many and would start tricking off from antitrust laws. However, I can certainly see them working out a deal to help some other studio or some other entity buy Sony Pictures with the understanding that they sell them back Spider-Man and the Spider-Man property. So they get Spidey and all the affiliated characters. That would be an easy thing. I think it might be a little too simple. They'd probably go with something more complicated, more troublesome. But I can see that happening. In which case, Tom Rothman, what have you gained with this stupid stunt? I mean, yeah, the deal didn't look particularly great from Sony perspective, but it's like you still have a deal. You'd still have, your little piece of the Spider-Man. If this keeps up, it's like, there may not be a Sony Studios before too long, okay? Tokyo might decide, like, that's it. It ain't worth the effort. We're selling the studio. Tom, you're fired. Because they've got other. They don't need Sony Pictures. It's a prestige item for them, but they don't need it. They've got They got the electronics division, which built them in the first place. I'm sure they could find somebody to take it on, because you still got the thing of being able to own Columbia Pictures. And I can see somebody with Disney working behind the scenes for somebody to buy Sony and hand them over the rights to Spider-Man, and basically getting the band completely back together. And really, all it's going to take, you've already seen a vote of no confidence among the fan base about Sony going alone again on this. Nobody wants this, all right? And the irony is, Rothman doesn't even like superhero movies. He's totally mismanaged he pretty much destroyed the X-Men franchise. This is the guy who was just partially responsible for sewing Deadpool's mouth shut. Did the Merc with a mouth, moniker not quite register with him? It's, like I said, this has disaster written all over it, just because Rothman wants to be a big guy, and so he can stand up to the Mouse House. Well, guess what? The Mouse House can squash you like a bug, Tom. Just give them time to figure out how to, so they won't have their fingerprints all over it. So, with that, PayPal, Patreon down below. I mean, PayPal especially right now, because the immediate assistance is kind of appreciated, because managed to get a little money from little sister, but it's only not even a quarter tank of gas right now, and it's still a good week to go to the end of the month. Patrons, now, these videos generally get come out at around 100, 150 hits, 150 views. If every one of you guys were to become a patron at $1 a month, that's a big jump in my income right now. Because right now I got 3 people, and they're doing $40 a month, which is kind of asking a lot of them. And I'm doing like Mike. It's like, hey, people just a few hundred people doing $1 a month. That would hopefully avoid glitches like we just saw there, where I'm on the stupid phone here overheating. I didn't even get the back off of the damn thing; it's still overheating. Because there's a thrift store nearby here that's got some GoPro-like cameras. I can probably pick up one of those for $20. But yeah, I mean, really, we're on the cusp of something here, guys. Because personal note here, Steph's proceeding nicely through the train. She, for another 4 weeks, should have her out of the neck brace and getting proper, therapy going. What I've heard about the particulars of our case there, we should get a pretty decent payout here. So if everything works out, hopefully it would be, hopefully there's a double wide back in Denver with our name on it. We can get set up and really start, kicking some butt. In the meantime, gotta eat, gotta live, gotta keep gassing this thing, because especially the day such that I can keep running the air conditioner every 2 minutes to cool this thing down to keep myself from melting. So, links down below. Want to send me stuff? Captain Robert April, 4046 North Goldenrod Road, number 115, Winter Park, Florida, 32792. And we will get back to you later. Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood